Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our today's topic is basic terminologies of animal nutrition. In this video or lecture, I will be trying to explain different terminologies which are being utilized or used in the field of animal nutrition and feed technology. So let's start with the, next slide. So that the terms which would be, being, which are used, we start from the basic. Is first one is nutrition. This is basically the science of the use of feed. It includes all the processes by which an animal ingests, digests, absorbs, and uses the nutrients in feed for maintenance, growth, work, and reproduction. So actually, here are different functions of, I would say, the feed. Feed, animals are fed with feed, and it have four functions: for the maintenance of animal body, for growth of the body. If an animal is being used for work, so work, the energy required for work is being fulfilled by feed. And last but not least is the needs of reproduction is being fulfilled for the animal. So this was nutrition. So then we talk about nutrients. What are nutrients? The chemical substances found in the feed material that can be used and are necessary for growth, maintenance, production, and health of the animals. So these nutrients, these are water, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, minerals, and vitamins. So all these are nutrients. Next is feed. So what is feed? Any naturally occurring ingredient or material which is fed to animals for purpose of sustaining them is known as feed. Then comes the ingredients. Ingredients are constituents of feed materials. Uh, the next is forage. Forage includes as the vegetative protein of plants in a fresh, whether it's in a fresh form, dried form, or ensiled state, which is fed to livestock as pasture, hay, or silage. The next is fodder. Cultivated forage such as corn, sorghum, and berseem, etc., are known as fodder. Then is diet. What is diet? Uh, Feed ingredient or mixture of ingredients, including water, that is consumed by animals is known as diet overall. And next is roughages. Roughage is basically coarse, bulky feeds, which is high in fiber contents, that is almost more than 18%, and low in total digestible nutrients, which is less than 60%. It's known as roughages. And concentrates are opposite to the roughages. It means they have fiber contents of less than 18% and high in TDN or total digestible nutrients, which is more than 60%. Then is a ration. It's a complete feed allowance which is given to the animal in 24 hours is known as ration. Then is balanced ration. It's a feed, one which provides an animal the proper amounts and proportions of all the required nutrients is known as balanced ration. Another terminology we will be using in this section is graze. Graze is to consume standing vegetation as by livestock or wild animals. Another terminology against graze is browse, the forage of shrubs and trees which are eaten by animals is known as browse. Next is the carbohydrates. Everybody knows about carbohydrates. These are polyhydroxyaldehydes and ketones and their derivatives. So compounds of, we can say that compounds of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Next is crude protein. Crude protein is a mixture of true protein and non-protein nitrogenous compounds is crude protein. That means it actually some non-proteinic nitrogen sources are also mixed with the true protein sources. So that is why we call it a crude protein. CP. Another terminology which will be used in animal feed, animal nutrition is the crude fiber. It's a fibrous portion of feed which contains a cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin is known as crude fiber. Another terminology is crude fat, the part of the feed which is soluble in ether, also referred to as ether extract. Ash, the universal matter of a feed, the residue that remains after complete burning of the organic matter is known as ash. Energy, the capacity to perform work. Energy, the capacity to perform work. Then is total digestible nutrients, TDN. It's very famous and very much, we use most often or frequently used terminology in animal nutrition. So what is it? TDN is a term which indicates the energy value of a feed stuff. TDN, and it is equal to the percentage of digestible carbohydrates plus percentage of digestible crude protein plus percentage of digestible crude fat multiplied by a factor 2.25. It's 3DN. Then is another terminology, volatile fatty acids, VFAs, also known as VFAs. We commonly use in reference to acidic, propionic, and butyric acids, which are found especially in human contents or silage. Actually, the feed is being fermented. The carbohydrate portion of the feed is, fermented in rumen, reticulum, and omesum in three compartments of the stomach in ruminants, and they produce these VFAs. Then, what is a meal? Meal is basically a feed ingredient having a particle size somewhat greater than flour, for example, soybean meal. Then is pellet, ground feed compacted by steaming and then forcing the material through die openings is known as pellets. Crumbles, the pelleted feed which is reduced to irregular mixture or ingredient in meal form is known as crumbles. Very important term, minerals, the inorganic elements of animals and plants which are determined by burning of organic matter. These include macro and micro minerals. Macro minerals are calcium, phosphorus, sodium, chloride, potassium, sulfur, magnesium. And for micro minerals are iron, copper, manganese, zinc, selenium, cobalt, and iodine, etc. Another terminology is metabolism. It refers to all changes that take place in nutrients after they are absorbed from the digestive tract. Building up processes, nutrients used for the formation or repair of the tissues, or breaking up processes, nutrients are oxidized or for the production of work and heat. This all process is known as metabolism. Vitamins, complex organic compounds which are required in minute amounts that function as part of the enzyme system, essential for the transformation, energy, and regulation of metabolism of the body. Another terminology is maintenance. So the feed cost of keeping the animal alive and carrying out its basic functions is known as maintenance. Supplements. A feed or feed mixture which is used to improve the nutritional value of basal feeds. Actually, supplements are usually rich in proteins, minerals, vitamins, antibiotics, or a combination of part or all of these, and they are usually combined with basal feeds to produce complete feed. Then comes additive, an ingredient or combination of ingredients added to uh, a basic mix to help fulfill a specific need, like in order to enhance immunity, as a subtherapeutic level against bacteria. So another terminology is legumes. Legumes, a green plant, which is a member of a family Leguminosae, having the characteristics of nodules in the roots, seed in pods, and can fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. Straw. Straw, the plant residue remaining after separation of the seeds in threshing, for example, wheat straw, rice straw, etc. etc. Feedlot. Feedlot is basically a large-scale facility for intensive feeding of ruminants for fattening prior to slaughtering. Fermentation. Fermentation is basically the chemical changes which are brought about by enzymes produced by various microorganisms is known as fermentation. Fermentation can be aerobic and anaerobic. That means it can be performed or under in the presence of oxygen, and the other one is without oxygen. Next terminology is ad libitum. We most of in most of the animal nutrition experiments we use these terminologies very oftenly, and that means the animals have free choice access to feed. I mean, they can have feed and water till they feel have the feeling of feeling. Antioxidants, a compound that prevents oxidative rancidity of polyunsaturated fats. Antioxidants are used to prevent rancidity in feeds and foods. Then is a feed efficiency, the Russian expressing the number of units of feed required for 1 unit of production, for example, meat, milk, egg, by an animal. Like for producing 1 kg of meat in case of broiler, or if the birds is consuming 1 kg of feed, that is its feed efficiency. So I think that was all. Thank you very much.